Usually we go without an intro song.
Live.
Hi, welcome both of you. I'm happy that we do another Hongout, and it's so cool to see Sunil joining us. It's really great because you've been in the industry for, I think, almost over 20 years, worked at multiple companies, founded your own company, PartyKit. That one got acquired, and now you are one of the brains behind the Agents SDK at Cloudflare. And today we want to talk about the Agents SDK. Welcome, Sunil.
Hi, hello. You don't have to remind me about the 20 years thing. I keep telling people that the big curse in the industry is you go from being the youngest person in the room to being the oldest person in the room without realizing it. But fine. I've been around for a while. Yes, I have.
Also, just means
it's nice to be here. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
To the table.
It's fair. Yes.
I think. Do you want to give us, I guess, or give everyone the lowdown on the Agents SDK before we dive into, I guess, to frame everything, what we'll do today, we're going to eventually show something that we built with Agents SDK. And then we will kind of back up and we'll take like a very fundamental pattern from what we built and then discuss it with you of like, how do you think this works? And then that's basically my way of getting code review that I didn't get. But yeah, Agents SDK. What is it? Does it know things? Let's find out.
So we started this conversation internally last year about how a lot of AI agent frameworks, they help you build the business logic of these apps. Stuff like multi-agent, guardrails, handoffs, things like that. But there was never really any good story for where do you run these things. And conveniently, Cloudflare has this tech, which I've been obsessed with for about 4.5 years now, and I suspect it's another 10 years of my life, called Durable Objects. Terrible name, incredible technology. And the idea is that it can spin up a little bit of compute with a name or an ID closest to the user and run for very long periods of time, whether or not your browser is connected to it, etc. So unlike serverless programming, we actually call it stateful serverless. And it turns out this is a great container to run this code in whatever framework you're using, the Vercel AI SDK, LangChain, so on and so forth, all of these frameworks. So we took that idea and we ran with it, and we built the Agents SDK. It basically is a host that is well suited for LLM-driven apps, agentic apps. And these things come out of the box with scheduling, so you can make things run every Friday at 9 p.m. or every 20 seconds, things like that. It comes with hooks for email. You can email your agent. You can spit up a website, like there are HTTP handlers. You can do WebSockets and a whole bunch of other things. There's state synchronization. So if you have some state inside an agent and you connect to it with React, then it'll automatically synchronize the state inside it outside. And RPC, a whole bunch of features. We took that and we've been running with it. And over the last 6 to 7 months, I want to say, since it's been out, it has become a home for building MCP servers. It has become a home for building interesting patterns like what we call code mode. Anthropic just released a blog post yesterday talking about this, where what happens if your LLM can write code that you execute for tool execution. And the short version of it is that it becomes smarter and faster, and then like there are new emergent abilities. I can talk about that. But that's what the Agents SDK is. And I'll talk about the future of Agents SDK in a minute, but over the last year, again, it went from, hey, Sunil Pai has an idea, let's slap a website on it, to having a real team and having on-call. And we contribute now to the MCP SDK. We now contribute to like a bunch of things. And a lot of people host their agents and servers on us. Like we had a whole MCP day where I think like Linear and Sentry and Intercom and like some big names. So what started off with hey, are durable objects good for anything is now oh shit, like we think the future of agentic applications are on this. And I accidentally got important at work because they are now asking me my opinion on how to do these things. Thankfully, we hired well, so I just take credit for their work. But that's what I've been doing for the last year or so. Yes.
Nice. I think maybe also we sneak in at some point, because Agents SDK is open source. We should probably sneak in maybe before the future a little bit of like what's some low-hanging fruit, or what's a bug that your team hasn't been able to tackle yet that you just want someone to like crunch on. But we can put a pin in that, because I just kind of became curious as you were talking about it. So bearing in mind that Agents SDK is a durable object, which is like stateful serverless. It is, I will second, it's an incredible abstraction for an agent. And I haven't seen much else like it so far. So we built a thing, and we used the Agents SDK. And that thing you have already seen the hackathon version of a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to share my entire screen because I'm feeling bold. I should have spun up the hackathon version.
Oh, that was fun, but I think you made it more polite, right? So there was some instruction.
Yeah. So the hackathon version was called was it Hell's Kitchen, MCP Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
And so a Gordon Ramsay themed agent would take a look at your MCP server, try to invoke its tools, and then just like roast it. So any common mistake, it took like Anthropic's best practices for writing tools, and it took a couple of other blog posts on just like effective context usage, or how to respect the context of an MCP client when you're returning data from your tools. And then it used that to kind of criticize the server, and it was very dramatic. And funny enough, it took me a not insignificant number of time to like remove that tone from the agent, because I recycled the system prompt. And then there were just like, I feel like there were subtle things, like I removed every reference to Gordon Ramsay, but there were subtle ways that things were phrased that it was still saying stuff like, "This is a disaster."
I remember this MCP server is completely useless. It gave back one, like even though we wanted to like, frame it more politely. I remember I tested some MCP server with it. So
yeah, I think at this point in time, it's no longer like that. I think as of an hour ago too, I can sign out. I want to make sure that signing out and signing in works. I did open this up, so it's on console.fiberplane.com. You sign in with GitHub, and you have to pardon. It's a little rough around the edges because I pushed this out quite quickly at the beginning of the week. But you can log in, and you can connect any old MCP server, and you can get a review of its tool definitions, as we'll see. So I'm going to use, actually, what should I? It only supports streamable HTTP. So bearing that in mind, what should I connect to? I didn't actually think this. I can
Get MCP ones. They're so good.
Which one?
You said GitHub?
Getmcp.io. Yeah. It's Git MCP. So HTTPS getmcp.io / let's say Cloudflare / agents. One of those.
Oh, really? And that's an okay. VCF agents. I'll name it just for. I don't need like any special headers.
No, nothing. All good. Yeah.
Woo! Oh, it's ready. Oh, cool. All right. So we connected. Okay. So what just happened is that I'm a user. I like configured a new server, and behind the curtain, we created a new durable object instance, which is using the Agents SDK. And then we configured this MCP server inside the durable object and tried to connect to it. So all of that like state management around the connection and everything is happening inside the durable object, and it's live. So we get like WebSocket updates about it. I can like view all the tools. Okay, so what actually, can you give a little more color to this MCP? Sunil, like what is this?
So the nice thing about this, this is a project that basically converts any GitHub repo into an MCP server that lets you like search through its issues, docs, etc. So that's basically what it is. It's like a convenient thing if you want to just connect to a GitHub repo and ask questions, etc. to it. It's quite nice.
Oh, that's super cool. I feel like I had this idea months ago, and I'm glad that someone actually did it. All right, we can look at the tools. So you can get the documentation, search the documentation. Oh, you can search the code, and then fetch generic URL content. Okay, so this looks like it's supposed to be, it's a generic tool to fetch content from any absolute URL, and you can do that to retrieve referenced URLs in other docs. Okay, so this is like part of a workflow, I would imagine. Okay, cool. All right, I didn't implement streaming the response in yet, so this view is a little boring. But what's happening under the hood is we're making a call to an LLM. Oh, there it is. In the Agents SDK, and recording the result inside of the little database that's attached to the durable object, and then we're returning the result. And then we can kind of see, okay, we can see some action items that come through. We're going to turn this into more structured data later in the week. But it gives you just a very thorough review of the tool naming, descriptions, schemas, and things that you might want to change. And I'm trying to see, this is probably a good like manual eval right now. We can look at a couple of these. So clarifying the documentation workflow. Yeah, okay, this I think relates a bit to like making sure that the agent consuming the MCP server knows the common workflows, and that you specify those in like tool descriptions. But yeah, I don't know. We don't need to go through too much of that. I would highly recommend, give it a whirl so that we can see.
I love this, by the way. This is so good.
Yeah.
This is so good. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And yeah, okay. So using that as like a launching off point, you as the author of the library, maybe you know that we made a web app. That web app has users, and theoretically those users can add, like in this case, we'll call them agents, but they're really the MCP servers, but same for this example. So I want a page where a user creates a new agent, but then I also want a page where I can list all of those agents. Putting on your code architect hat, like what have you seen this pattern? I'm guessing you've seen this pattern of working with people who are working with the Agents SDK. But what do you suggest? Because it's not, I would say it's not immediately clear how you should theoretically do this with durable objects, because the durable object kind of exists in the ether until you remember how to reference it.
Yeah, this actually comes up quite often. And the reason we are hesitant to provide a first-class solution out of the box is that it usually ties into like a user's just document management system, which is to say their database, right? You want to maintain a list. The most common one we see is because our starter app is a chat app. They're like, well, I want to see a list of all the chat sessions you've done. And then you want to be able to index them by users in it. And what happens if we want to make it multiplayer? And it usually needs to happen in the user's actual database. I think like that's just effectively one of the answers, which is, hey, like use your Drizzle schema or whatever ORM you're using to make a table that records all of these things and adds your own fields into it, which could be users and some other stuff. You also want to kind of tie it to auth in some way, which is you want to make sure that only some users can list some of these things, especially if it's, I don't want to say multi-tenant, but any multi-user setup. The other thing that we are seeing, especially around agents, people are, for lack of a better phrase, and it's something I've been using recently, people want digital HR for their agents. So they want like a kind of high-level view of how their little teams of agents are behaving and some kind of performance metric. But you also want to be able to dive into a single agent and not just see what they've done, but what they're doing like right now. So you folks actually built out a great dashboard that got like a long way there, like the fiber plane dashboard for the Agents SDK, which we should just ship at some point. We should just say, yeah, use the fiber plane dashboard. It's very good. But we see these two things coming up a lot. Maybe we should just share types and example schemas. Because like I said, like we've been struggling to figure out an abstraction to share. And there are two extremes, right? One is which is okay, developer, you do it yourself. Here's just do it yourself. Or you provide like an abstraction, but then people have to like unwind it to make it fit for their thing. A new third solution has come up that I've been using in a number of ways recently, which is everyone uses coding agents right now. If you don't, I mean, you're just trying to write code with one hand tied behind your back. So one of the things we might do is literally write a document that says, hey, this is how you could possibly do it. And inside your coding agent, you say, hey, here's a link to how Agents SDK suggests that I manage all my agents. And you have access to the rest of my code base. Build a management system. I've been using this in multiple ways, by the way. So for example, we have a document in the agents repo, which is called Securing MCP Servers. And those are just a checklist of items for, hey, this is how you should treat your redirect URIs. This is how you should validate the state token, etc., etc. And it's very hard to provide an abstraction for that, but you don't want users implementing auth by themselves. And it turns out a great way now to do it is to just point it to the document, literally drop the link in your coding agent in Cursor or Cloud Code and say, hey, here's how Agents SDK suggests we secure our MCP servers. Secure my MCP server, making sure you do all these things. So I think, I know it sounds a little too ShadCN-y, like copy paste code, but it has been, we've been seeing like a bunch of, like it's been successful in more ways than I expected. Anyway, so to go back to it, how should you order it? How should you organize it? I guess you organize it like you organize your other documents or other entities in your database. But we're trying not to be too prescriptive at the moment because I don't think we have a good answer ourselves.
Okay. This does, so I guess, so there's the helper. Maybe I should show some code. I think I'm going to show some code.
How have you built it so far, Brad? Or what was your thinking when you start thinking about it?
I think that's the basic thing is you need some sort of external ledger of like, hey, user created this thing. And then you use the ID of that thing to be able to reference the agent like into the future. So if someone clicks on, in our case, an MCP server, the MCP server has some sort of internal ID attached to it. And then we use that to find the durable object again. I think one of the trickier parts for me, and maybe this is ultimately the question behind the question, Claude, get out of there. So if I go to, what do I call it? Agents. Okay. Real code here, everyone. Look out. Don't steal our trade secrets. Route agent request. Okay. So do you have preferences for when, so like, I guess, what is the magic behind route agent request is one part of my question. Like, what is that actually doing for you inside of a Cloudflare worker when you use it to connect to an agent? And the reason I'm asking is because I wanted to layer in some things that happen before getting into the agent, and we can talk a little bit maybe about, so like I call it hydration, but this idea that, okay, your agent actually needs to be aware of some state by default before the request reaches it. And maybe that's way too abstract. So I guess in our case, for a couple of reasons, so like I want the agent to know the user ID of the user that created it. And I want that so that I can attach it to metadata that's going through the AI gateway, for example. So I can correlate LLM requests to the user that made it, if there's ever an issue, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff before I get to route agent request, and then I forward the request into the agent. And then because of the way, like maybe this is, on me, I've had to kind of like reverse engineer a little bit the parameters in the route for the agent. So like getting the agent name and then getting the ID of the agent and then mapping it to our database record, to like look up the record, authorize it for the user, then create the DO, hydrate it with information, and then I get to route agent request. And sorry, I've been rambling for a bit. I guess my question is thoughts on this?
Okay, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here to do code review for you, because I can tell you a feature that I should probably document really quickly. So you see the third argument in route agent request?
Yes, prefix.
We pass it a field called props, like literally just type props.
No.
And you can pass it an object that will be available inside onStart.
No. Okay.
So
all right.
You should.
This gets rid of the hydration dance here.
That's the hope. Yes. So you won't even need to do the set name stuff as well.
Okay.
So, but that being said, you do say that you might need some of. Well, if you do onStart, the nice thing is you'll have .name as well available inside. If you pass props this way, you'll have .name available inside onStart as well. So I suspect this might simplify your code a bunch.
Yeah, because I think I came to this from only writing durable objects, and this hydration pattern is relatively common.
Exactly, which is why we just added it to route agent request.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess there you go. That might simplify a whole bunch of your code.
Okay, well, yeah. All right. Yeah, because I think that was a... thank you.
I got you, man. Like you should ask me these questions in the DMs as well before going. I mean, to be fair, I think we only shipped it about maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, so you might not have known it. But yeah, it exists. You can actually pass. We take care of this now for you. You can pass. It's a little tricky because onStart can be called a number of times, which means that the props you pass here have to be the same every single time. But in practice, it's not so much of an issue.
Okay. So these props should not change. All right, but I guess I don't want to go too into the weeds, but maybe we just do. So onStart, I don't think I actually implemented it in here, but I've definitely bumped into it because of digging through the code base.
Wait, is it? Yeah, if this is just an agent, you can just implement an onStart.
Okay, well, I want question. If I implement an onStart, is there default logic that's happening? Like, do I need to override it? Do I need to invoke it with super?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, I don't think so. I think we've made it so that you don't actually need to call super on this, unless you extend this class again and you do something.
Okay.
But it should just kind of work. And yeah, the props should be available inside there. I think there's a way to pass the types as well so that they're typed properly.
Okay.
Or the generic that you pass to AI chat agent, but it's fine. You can manually type it if you want.
All right. To do. Add them props. Okay, cool. I like that I got comments in my code base that come directly from notes on a live stream.
It's such to go back to why it's not even that this is a problem with durable objects, right? It's just a general problem with like actor model in general. It's why we don't recommend that you use the raw durable object stub to get a hold of the stub. So there are two magic functions. There are two functions for addressability with agents SDK. There's route agent by request and there's get agent by name. Get agent by name does a subset of route agent by request. Route agent by request, of course, there's a default pattern for URLs, which is like /agents slash the class name, but like camel cased slash an ID, and you can like pass more things beyond it. And out of the box, that seems to satisfy like 80-90% of people who are using agents. But for more complicated use cases, so for example, Boris is building a graph database with agents, which is
Saw that.
it's kind of wild. Where you
That's
don't
Boris, for the audience, that's Boris Tane.
That's
who
right,
is,
Boris.
a great
He's the lead
account
on
to follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that point, you don't even have requests when you're talking between agents, and they're like a whole. And it's just a form of saying, yep, just get me agent by name on this durable object namespace. But even inside that, we still need to call set name. And there's a bunch of timing issue boilerplate that we like take care of you that's not specific to durable objects. It's just kind of specific to the distributed computing problem world.
Yeah.
This is the nice thing about having done a failed startup on durable objects. The technology was good and I managed to port that over. I'm just glad I didn't have to port over the lack of a business model. That Cloudflare takes care of for me.
We got a comment in the chat from Rai saying, "Too bad we all couldn't have Sunil review our code for us." Lol. So Sunil,
you say that, but fundamentally, this is most of my job nowadays. People pinging me and saying like, "Can you just help me?" And I am a people pleaser. I don't know how to say no to people. So I get DDoSed by people just helping out with like regular JavaScript stuff on a daily basis. This is my life.
Actually, this would be really helpful. We're going to have a live stream with Sunil every day for the rest of the month until I learn how to use Agents SDK better.
And I'm saying I'm unable to say no to you right now. This is my problem. Like, if you asked me, I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, maybe. I just won't eat or sleep like for a while. It's okay. Like, it's fine.
Well, I mean, at least I hope maybe some other people had the same question that Brad had with the props, that maybe they watch the stream later and then they don't have to ping you anymore, right? So
I hope so. Yeah, it's a good feature. The props thing is a good feature. You should absolutely use it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rai, you know your answer. You have to just ask Sunil and he will not say no. I mean, that's good to know.
I guess, well, we are getting close to the 30-minute mark, which is our soft boundary for an episode. And I would like, you have mentioned the future of Agents SDK, which anytime you talk about is quite exciting. So let it rip.
Some of the basic stuff is, I'm very I don't shut up about this on Twitter, and you should keep an eye on it, which is Cloudflare Sandbox SDK, which is literally using containers but pre-filled with a bunch of useful things to do and patterns that you can use on top of it for running and executing not just code. Like, you can run open code on a container, and you can see where I'm going with this. If you have an agent connected to a sandbox in runtime, you now magically have a thing that can generate apps and websites and pages and stuff. So you should keep an eye on that. Agents right now is a library on the Workers ecosystem, which is to say, someone asks me, hey, how do you make an AI agent? And I'm like, well, there's a thing called Wrangler, and there's a thing called a durable object. So I think we want to start almost flipping the conversation. What if Agents was a Vite plugin that you could dump into your app and it made a bunch of things like zero configuration, like including durable objects, etc. What if Agents was a CLI? And I'm just saying this, by the way. I don't know if we'll do it, but I kind of want to be like, yeah, what if we had NPX agents create, NPX agents dev, NPX agents deploy? Like, what would that look like? And inside there are all the assumptions. Oh, like there's a sandbox readily available to you. There's a vector database, all pluggable, by the way. Like the database could literally be Planet Scale or something else. The vector database could be Chroma or something. Like we don't know, but we kind of want to be able to build that connectivity layer for agents on top. And what would an agent's first development experience look like? So that's the thing we are looking at. We've been really hard at work at fixing both the MCP server and the included MCP client inside Agents SDK. It's like night and day better than it was 3 months ago. I think we'll make a little more noise about that soon. In fact, we now have someone dedicated to just the MCP TypeScript SDK, just helping them fix issues because I love them, but Anthropic are a bunch of Python researchers who don't know how to write TypeScript. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll help you with this. More high-level examples and abstractions. Like, what does it mean if Agents SDK could ship a deep research agent or a coding agent, like out of the box? And not a coding agent in the, this spits out code, but you wire up open code and we give you the entire, like we said, like a durable object is a host for agentic business logic. So what if the agent's meta framework was a host for your entire stack, developer stack? So we're going to spend a bunch of time thinking about this. And you know me, I don't shut up about it on Twitter. So that's probably the best place to learn about it.
No secrets there, except the code mode. I think I know when you were started working on that, and you were cryptically tweeting about it. But that was.
Oh, thank you for reminding me about this. I have a brand new. You know what? You can be the first people to hear about this. Hopefully, this week I ship a version of code mode that is runtime agnostic. You don't doesn't need to run on Cloudflare. It can run on Vercel, Netlify, whatever the hell. So I think we'll be shipping that this week. I'm very excited about that.
So
if I'm not on podcasts and calls and I have time to work on it and not debugging code, but it'll happen.
We never talked about this because we also never released it. But in the week after your code mode post, which is fun to say, I did a version of it. We have like a local MCP gateway for just like debugging pass-through traffic, etc. So I did do a version of that used eval, which was the most thrilling thing I've done in years. The cursed, highly insecure eval became the runner for stuff, and it worked. It was very, very fun. And then I was like, I can't, in good conscience, give this to anyone to run on their own. But
okay, you say that, but just because you said it, I'll make sure I ship an eval-based executor with this thing that I'm working on.
Just a plugin.
Just because you said so.
Life on the edge. Just use eval. There's some, I wouldn't recommend it. There's some like funky stuff you have to do to make it work with the context and the runtime, because it's like it's literally as if you're evaluating that code in the script that it's running, and stuff gets very strange. Cool.
Anyway, thank you so much for having me here. It's always nice to hang with the Fiberplane folks, and it's very exciting to see what you folks are working on. Let me know if I can help you in any way, and if I can do more code review for you and your friends and family. I guess let me know.
Now that we know that you don't say no.
I guess. Well, also, I think maybe the final thing, in the spirit of getting you more code to review, how do people contribute to Agents SDK? Is it harder now that you're kind of like you're a team internally and coordinating with the outside world? Is it are there things that you're like, we don't have time for this? Yeah.
No, it's actually easier now. A, because we have a team, and B, because we have actually started putting effort into making the agent's code base a good place to use a coding agent. So it's we are not fully there yet, but it's actually, like I said, over the last couple of weeks, we've been working on it and it'll get like a lot better. So if you're looking, but don't just run Claude Code, submit a PR and say like your job is done. Like actually test it out, make a case for it. Talk to us like a human being. You can tell us, hey, I used Claude Code to do this, but this is why I did it. And we'd love to like talk to people. Yep, it's all open source, so you can just contribute directly.
Cool.
Nice.
All right.
Do we have any parting words? Brad, do you want to sing a song as I click the end the stream button?
It's okay. It's okay. We can, in silence, just stare at the screen.